Well, good morning everyone and welcome back to Katran TV. You are joining us at Willow Pool on the Arrow Meadow ticket. Just a beautiful lake, believe you me. This place is stunning. One of those lakes, I don't know, for me personally, I just find it very inspiring, you know, pads, beautiful margins, willows, nooks and crannies, stalking opportunities, all that kind of thing, and obviously a very, very nice stock of carp. Now, I'm down here with Stu and Tony. Tony has been on this lake for some time actually, so we'll be picking his, you know, for many years, so we'll be picking his brains on how to catch these fish to some extent. But the loose plan is to put some features together over the season. So we're in August now. It's the start of August, so we joined the ticket at a very, very odd time. But the idea is to document how we approach it, you know, given the time of year. So that's what we're going to try and do. I've got to tell you, this is my first morning. So we did a night last night, absolutely hammered it down throughout the night. So I don't know what that's going to do. It's the first bit of rain that we've had, but at the moment I don't care. It's just lovely to be here. You know, it's a drop dead gorgeous venue, and hopefully you can enjoy it as much as we are going to. So for now I'm going to check out, we'll catch up with all the bits and pieces, you know, with regards to tactics and stuff a little bit later on, and now we've started. But yeah, I'll just leave you with this place for now. Right guys, catch up time. Let's try and tell you what's been going on. So got here yesterday, it's Tuesday today, Tuesday the 6th of August. Got here yesterday about midday, as you do, lap the lake and trying to take it all in. It's such a stunning lake that it's like wherever you walk into a swim, you're like, I could put a rod there, I could do this, I could do that. And before you know it, you can get a bit of sort of information overload. So I thought, right, just stop, jump in a swim where you can see a lot of the lake, which is actually a car park swim. There's some swims across the car park which give you a good view of the main body of the lake. The lake does channel off into like a bottom lake actually down the bottom, which we'll go and have a look at. It's beautiful down there. But the majority of the water's up here, so I thought if I pitch up in here, I can keep an eye on things. Now, as I said, there's lots to go at. Lots of little sets of pads. I didn't go for the obvious pads, which is a big set to my right. But what I did do with those is I've been baiting it constantly since I've been here. It's probably seen about, I don't know, a good 4 kilos of particle from our friends Midland Mixes down the road, who are going to be helping us out with bait for this trip. It's just down the road, so it's very good of them to help us out and deliver it to the lake. And basically just mixed particle, you know, crushed tigers, mixed particle, buckwheat, you know, tares, bits and pieces, you know. And I'm just feeding that, and I'm not going to put a rig on it until I absolutely have to. Other two, but my fishing rods, they have been 2 out to a set of pads in front of me at about 40 yards. Same bait, and with the rigs that I've been putting over there have been my sort of slip denoodle multi combi rigs, and balanced tigers over the top. So 2 on that and 1 in the margin here where I have seen fish. Needless to say, nothing has happened yet. The fish did come up in the water today quite a bit, been milling about. So zigs went out today, they're still out now. So the zigs are still out now. But don't know, I think if they were going to go, they would have gone by now, to be totally honest with you. So moving forward, I'm going to switch it up, keep feeding that spot. I'm going to put solid bags out and no more bait, on the premise being that if they are being a bit, you know, sort of like not really up for it, a mouthful of bait might nick me a bite. And I'm also building a swim, you know, over on this other set of pads over here with a decent amount of bait. So I'm sort of asking the lake a few questions, and hopefully we'll get some answers. I mean, you know what it's like, you don't really learn anything unless you're getting bites. or if you're not getting bites, then you know that you're missing a trick somewhere. So we're trying to work it out. We'll catch up with Stu. Stu's being Stu.
The things I have to do to get a seat.
And doing it his way, which I think if it pays off, it's going to pay off in a big way. But we'll see. I'll let him tell you about what he's doing. Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Right, so what have you been up to then, Stu? How did it all kick off? What was the plan?
I came here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Then I came here last week as well. I baited quite heavily in a couple of areas with mainly particles.
A lot of particles as well, isn't it?
Because everyone seems to use boilie over here.
Yeah.
I had a couple of fish, both trips.
You did.
So, so I thought, right, I've got caution to the wind with a preconceived idea of coming in and found a nice area between the sets of lily pads, which I can commandeer as my own area, bait heavily with a view of trying to single out a better fish. Obviously I've done that rig wise,
yeah,
with bigger baits.
Yeah.
Basically just what I did was I baited heavily, and I have not put a rod in the water for the first about 36 hours.
It was about
36,
yeah.
About a day and a half.
Yeah.
I put them out last night, still not seen anything.
No.
There's only been one fish out in the last 4 days, so it's been a little bit tough. The last couple of hours I've seen a little bit of activity over the baited area. I should winkle something out.
Well, fingers crossed something happens over the next 24 hours. I've got another 24 hours, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but, I'm going to rebait again. I'll redo the rods again tomorrow. If it hasn't worked this time, I'll be back next week for another stint.
Lovely.
Relentless.
That's more like it, Stuart, isn't it?
I've never seen the stars like how they're looking tonight. You must be shining your way over to me. There's something kind of physical that's burning the room. There's a reason that you're here, and nobody's ever gonna take your place. Yeah, I think we should meet in the middle.
Right guys, so Wednesday afternoon and I've moved. I've gone from over in the car park. Nothing happened, and it felt like there was no fish in the swim, to be honest with you. But the beauty of being in that peg meant I could keep an eye on the lake, and all down this bottom end, I'm in peg, I think it's 15. All down this bottom end there were fish showing last night, so made sense to make the treacherous journey all the way around the lake with all the kit and pitch up and try and nip one down here. Now I don't think they're on the bait. I know Stu's gone in really heavy with the bait, so we're asking the lake a question there really, between us. If it pays off, it's going to pay off well, I think, but if it doesn't, then we will learn from that experience. So down here on with solid bags and minimal bait, fishing likely areas. I'll show you in a bit. There's basically one to a set of pads that goes into the mouth of a channel that runs into like a bottom lake. It's almost, the lake really thins out and then opens out into the bottom lake. I think they call it the bottom lake, I might be wrong. So I've got one at the mouth of there in the pads, or at the front of the pads, one out in the open water, and one on the points, which was an old swim that you can't fish anymore, but that's where I saw the fish. So they were just off the point of the lake, so it made sense to put a rig there. So we will see minimal bait, single tigers on the hook, and single tigers in solid bags. Just caught me loads of fish in similar scenarios, so we will see. I will check in with you in the morning. Right, good morning, and it has happened. About 4:45. Actually just went out to set the time lapse up and got back into bed, sort of watching, and the next thing you know, one toner off the point. A lovely, haven't weighed him yet. We'll do that afterwards because he's super lively. Just want to get this done. I must say, he took me through every single bed of pads there was, and there was carp in everyone because I spooked them all out of there. But Krypton in £25, just pulled him through the pads. That's all you can do. I am worried about this fish kicking off. Kicks me straight in the face.
That!
Oh dear, that's woke me up.
Oh, I couldn't help that.
Dear me, literally my ears are ringing. There we go. It's a lovely way to open the account. The gorgeous fish in here, as you can see. Just pet back. I don't want to muck about with this fish. I've not even weighed him. Will do just quickly before we put it back. But it is lovely to open the account after the move. £35 termit, size 3J precision wide gape, in a solid bag, £25 Krypton. Try as he might, the pads weren't up to the job, but the line was. So yeah, we're going to get him back now and try and catch another one. Right, I don't want to muck about with this fish, but it was off the pads to the inlet, into the channel. Might go £30, we haven't weighed it yet, but I'm just going to pick him up quick for the camera. I don't want to muck about with it too long because they are lively. You can see, might go 30, but yep. £35 termit, £25 Krypton, and those size 3 advanced J precision hooks and hit and hold situation. People think a size 3 is too big in a solid bag. Well, this one didn't mind. There we go. How's he looking, Stu?
Lovely, mate. That's a lovely fish.
So there we go. Don't know how big he is. He might go £30. He ain't far off, but we'll put the weight on the top of the screen. One happy angler, and I will talk you through exactly what's been going on just a little while. Whew. Right, back she goes. It's just over 25, but look at the state of that. He's had a bit of he put a good fight on the mat, so days. Right guys, so let's have a catch up with what's been going on. Let's take these off for a sec. So the first bite came at 4:45 this morning. I'd literally just got out to set the time lapse up, and the one off the point ripped off. Lovely, I can't even remember how big it was now, sort of up a double mirror, and not long afterwards, maybe an hour later, the one on the inlet to the channel burst into life. Now, the move was definitely worth doing. I think if we'd have stayed over there, we'd still be scratching our heads. There's been people fishing over there in that sort of area, and nothing's come out. So, you know, I think it was the right thing to do. Now, it's worth talking about the gear I don't want this to be about, look, this isn't about pushing products, but this is about getting fish out of these areas safely. And so what I've gone in with is £25 Krypton. I mean, this is only a small lake, and you might think that £25 is overkill, but I don't think you can really have too heavy a line as long as you don't need to cast it. You know, it sinks quicker, there's less stretch in it because obviously it's a thicker material, and you are not going to run into any bother. So £25 Krypton. Rig wise, it was a solid bag, and rig wise it was £35 Termit with a size 3 J Precision advanced wide gate. Now size 3 sounds huge, doesn't it, for in a solid bag with a little tiger net on there, well it's actually a double tiger. But again, the reality is that hook is on the deck, the tiger's sat on top of it. As soon as the fish picks the tiger net up, the hook drops, it's in, and it is not going to bend out on you if you've got to lean into a fish. So I don't think the size of the hook really matters. I'm going to knock another rig up here now, actually, while I'm talking to you. As I say, size 3 J Precision advanced wide gate. They're dead easy to knock up. Maybe, I don't know, 8 inches of Termit, just a knotless knot. Which everybody knows how to do, so I won't bore you with talking about that. Probably bored already anyway watching this, you've probably all done it 1,000 times, but there you go. And onto there, what I tend to do is just put a little kicker. I'll put a tungsten kicker onto there, and then I will run a tungsten sinker down the line. But one thing I will say is I would always recommend, this goes against the grain, you know, everybody wants everything as critically balanced as possible. I've always said to keep everything pinned down with a solid bag, and that's just on the premise that if you do get an aborted take, if something comes along and, you know, I don't know, the rig flicks up because it's disturbed it could sit down funny again. If everything's sat down, you know, if everything's pinned down by a bit of tungsten or something, you know that you're going to be sort of somewhere near presented and fishing again. So yeah, that's going back out. I'm going to finish that off in a sec. The plan is, at the moment, is to just press repeat. I'm not going to move. I've got one more night. I'm not going to move. I'm not in any rush to get the rods back out. We're going to go and catch up with Stu. He's going to make some changes, I think, and be interesting to see what he's doing. I'm going to get everything ready for sort of like late afternoon, and make sure that everything's fishing for bite time, which I would imagine is going to be in the morning again, early hours. So yeah, we will catch up with you in a bit and let you know how it's going. What's Stu, how's it going?
Oh, not too bad. A lot of liners last night.
Yeah.
So obviously, where I've changed all the line from Wildcard over to Krypton because it's a shallower lake, and I just wanted a heavier line.
Yeah.
And I thought by using the shorter leaders would be better, but I don't think it is, because the amount of liners I've had is, I mean, one was like that savage, I hit it. Yeah. So I'm going to put the 2.5 metre leaders back on, which I've been using a lot on, like where I used them on my own fend and everywhere else. Yeah. Because they just pin it down that extra distance, so I can fish a semi. I don't want to fish tight lines through it because it's not a very deep water. Yeah. So what I want to try and do is pin down for at least a couple of metres, because I've baited really heavily. I think they're troughing around. Yeah. And they're hitting the line. Yeah. So all 3 rods were doing it. Yeah. So I know they're fizzing up out there now on the side of one of the rods.
So the plan basically is to pin everything down.
I want to pin everything down as far as I can. In hindsight now, I wish I'd got 25 Krypton rather than 21. Yeah. Because it's just heavier and it'll do the job better.
Right, well this will be the last fish I think for me. Off the point again, and this fish went off about, I don't know, 20 minutes ago, if that. It was a bit of carnage because I was halfway through putting the other rod out. I'll give you the lowdown. It's been a bit of a nightmare last night, but we'll give you the lowdown before I head off. But we finished on a common, not the biggest. I'm not going to weigh him. I'm just going to get a quick look at him for you. Feels like he might kick off and then get him back, but we will catch up with everything. So there you go. You can tell me what he weighs because it doesn't bother me. But all in all, I would say a successful session, and I've got to tell you that no one else on the lake has had a thing since I've been here. So we've had a mirror, a linear, and a common. And a common. So that was nice. Anyway, one more little look because he's quite lively. So there we go. And as I say, we'll catch up with you in a little bit. Stu's going to crack on and try and capitalise on what he's been doing. That was close. But I'm going to get him back. So right guys, I'll catch you in a little bit. Right then Stu, that's a wrap for me.
Not for me.
I suppose I better just talk quickly about what's gone on before I go, and then we'll have a chat about what you're going to do moving forward, because last night was a bit of a nightmare. I had a nightmare with the swans last night, an absolute nightmare. To cut a long story short, I'm not fishing in anything under over 3 foot, and as you all know, a swan can reach 3 foot into the drink, no problem. So what was happening was I was getting the rigs in position.
It was relentless, weren't it?
Yeah, mate, absolutely relentless. And right through into dark, I think I redid the rod. The last time I redid the rods after them diving on the, you know, sort of feeding on the spot tail up, was 3:30 this morning. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever hooked a swan, but it is not a pretty sight. So I've done it once, and I swore blind I'd never let that happen again. So I had to wind in.
I wasn't laughing.
So I had to wind in, got the rods back out this morning, and as I was actually putting that rod back out this morning, the rod on the point went. So the boat was halfway back. The rod went.
Laughing.
I know, the rod went, and I had to stop the boat, pick the rod up. Obviously I'm fishing locked up to the pads. It was all a bit of a calamity, but fortunately managed to land the fish. So all in all, for me personally, decent session. I've learned a bit about the lake, found some spots. I think it's probably worth, you know, pointing out that at the moment anyway, big beds of bait don't seem to be paying off, whereas I've gone the opposite to Stu. Stu's gone in heavy, hasn't he?
Yeah, I just tried something different. I primed it really 2 weeks before, then last week, and I've gone in and done the same this week.
Yeah.
This time it hasn't paid off.
No.
So obviously now I'll rethink my approach to it.
Yeah,
a
but
couple of changes as well. So
this is what it's all about, isn't it?
it's learning, isn't it?
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is ask the lake as many questions as we can in very, very, you know, opposite ends of the scale. Heavy baiting, not heavy baiting, short rigs, long rigs, that kind of thing. You know. So I mean, it's probably worth pointing out all mine came on solid bags over literally half a scoop of bait in the other offer. So very, very minimal bait, and I think location as ever is key. No one else has had a bite except for the lad, I must say. So I said earlier that no one had had a fish since we've been here.
The lad in the corner had a 27, didn't he?
The lad in the corner on the first night had a 27, and I forget your name, mate, but if you're watching this, well done on your PB, because you know, it's not an easy lake at the moment anyway. It definitely isn't an easy lake, and I think August is a tricky time of year, isn't it, Stu?
Yeah, it's kicked me in the nuts this time, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
But, you know, that's part and parcel of fishing.
Of course it is. That's the reality of fishing.
Yeah.
Isn't it? We don't all go fishing and catch fish all the time, as you've seen on these features. But I'm going to go home and catch up with everything and plan my next trip, I suppose. But until we meet again here, if we don't meet you again somewhere else, probably be back in a couple of weeks. Whether we film that or not, I don't know, because I think we're going to try and do it seasonally. So if we do get some footage, we'll put it into the next feature, which will be autumn.
Yeah, it's just a lovely lake.
Yeah.
It's not about the size of the fish, but the fish what are in here are actually really, really good looking fish.
Yeah, they are. They are.
So,
They are. So
for me, that means more than the size.
yeah, same here. Absolutely, you can go anywhere and there's a lot of places you can go and catch big fish. There's not a lot of places where you can come and catch stunning fish like are in here.
Some of them are really old.
Yeah, really old, with the chance of some really special fish that are big as well. You know, so yeah. thanks to everybody that supported us on this, you know. So Midland Mixes, special thanks to you. Thanks to Alan and Aaron Meadows. Believe you me, we will be frequenting your venues, because this is such a well run and lovely venue, and I'm sure they're all the same. So
I mean, it's so nice here, isn't it?
it is, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Everything about it, the banks.
Yeah.
It's nice with the overhanging willows, and that, like, every swim looks private, doesn't it, because of the trees overhanging. So
Yeah.
it's just nice.
It's just nice. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, good luck on the bank, and we'll catch up with you soon.